In my house, the more plastic bags we sold, the better it was for everyone. My family's been in the plastic bag manufacturing business for 3 generations.
In my house, we believed that the fewer plastic bags you use, the better it was for everyone. I had discovered in 2005 that the US was using 1 billion plastic bags a day. About a third of them were leaking out into our environment. That's 2 billion bags a week, wafting over our city streets, clogging city gutters, and getting stuck in trees. Eventually, all that plastic washes into our oceans, where it's wreaking havoc with our marine life. Driven by that moral imperative, I decided to give up my career as an English teacher and start a company to sell and promote reusable grocery bags. Trent and I come from totally opposite sides of the business spectrum. But we agree on one thing: sustainability can make you more profitable. We both found elements of the sustainability process that helped us reduce our costs through efficiency and raise our revenue. We're here today to share what we learned with you.
30 million small and medium-sized businesses in the US employ nearly half the workforce. While individually these companies are small, studies indicate that collectively they have a big carbon footprint, up to 60% of carbon from business. For these businesses, sustainability isn't really a moonshot. It's more like a slingshot. That is something at hand we can all use right now to face nearly impossible odds, like David facing Goliath. Lisa and I know what it takes to face impossible odds and come out ahead. We are amongst the 9% of people who have implemented sustainable business practices and found surprising success using tools that we already have available to us, Slingshots.
So I was a high school English teacher when I set out to become an eco-entrepreneur. My friends told me that reusable grocery bags was a terrible idea for a business. Americans would never bring their own bags back to the store. Americans would never pay for a grocery bag. But I believed that if Americans knew what I knew, they would make a more sustainable choice. So I tagged every bag with the top 5 reasons to reuse a bag. And then I started cold calling. Standing outside the English department office on the staircase overlooking the faculty parking lot, my first year in business, I sold 250,000 grocery bags. And then the next year I quit teaching and I sold 2 million grocery bags. And in my 3rd year, I sold 8 million grocery bags. Over the next 12 years, I established my company as a top supplier of this item, as reusable bag use among American consumers went from 3% to over 60% across the nation. What I learned is this: aligning your business model with the growing consumer desire for more sustainable goods and services is good business. As an eco-entrepreneur, I made more than 3 times what I was making as an English teacher.
For me, making plastic bags was how I took care of my family. That was my moral imperative. 70 families depend on our business to make a living. When I saw this cover of the National Geographic in 2018, I realized that plastic bags had become the poster child for unsustainability. Suddenly, I knew our business, our family business, could fail on my watch. For me, getting rid of plastic was not an option. Plastic packaging keeps food and other goods safe and fresh as they make their way through the supply chain from manufacturers to people like you and me. We don't want to sacrifice safety and freshness, so I decided to find ways to make our business and our product more sustainable. My family asked, "Is that even possible?" I didn't really know, but I thought that I had to try to protect my family, our employees, our customers, their customers, and the planet. I spent 3 years talking to stakeholders, educating myself on more sustainable business solutions, and on finding new materials with a more circular life cycle. Then I set up a plan. In the first year of our sustainability plan, we were able to reduce our internal scrap by 150,000 pounds. And to our surprise, reduce our expenses by $400,000. Then we introduced bio-based, compostable, and post-consumer recycled content materials into the market, and we raised our revenue by 10%. That's when I knew we were on the right track.
In 2017, I sold my business for over 10 times what I was making as an English teacher.
In 2021, we received an offer from a private equity company to buy our business for twice what I ever thought we could sell it for.
What Trent and I found is what other business owners who have instituted sustainability plans are finding. Sustainability is good business. In case you're still skeptical, let me lay out the business case for sustainability. Last year, researchers asked business owners if they thought sustainability plans would improve their financial performance. Only 18% thought it would help them reduce their expenses through better efficiency. Only 26% thought it would increase their revenue through innovation. And only 34% thought it would improve their overall competitiveness or company value. However, in 2020, researchers at McKinsey identified that 9% of business owners are actively engaged in sustainability plans and finding surprising returns. When they asked these business leaders how their financial performance had been affected by their efforts, the results were nearly double expectations. 35% said they actually had reduced their costs and increased their efficiency. They had found new revenue streams through innovation, and 57% of them reported that they had increased their company value and competitiveness. Harvard professors Rebecca Henderson and George Serafim are finding the same thing. Dozens of business cases where businesses pursuing sustainability are substantially increasing their profits.
So what is the difference between the 9% of people reaping profits from sustainability plans and the 91% who are dragging their feet? The 91% are asking themselves, what is the cost to take action? Instead, the 9% are asking, what's the cost of inaction? So let's look at 4 costs of inaction. The first is waste. A study out in 2019 found that 77% of what a typical business will throw away as trash isn't actually trash at all. The cost of inaction is overpaying for material and waste removal. Second is customers. A 2021 study found that 1/3 of consumers worldwide are willing to pay for authentic, sustainable products. The cost of inaction is a loss of market share. Third is employees. A recent Gallup poll found that employees who believed that their employers cared about their well-being and sense of purpose were 3 times more likely to be engaged at work, and they were 69% less likely to look for a new job. The cost of inaction is a loss of productivity and talent. And fourth is regulation. The SEC has recently proposed regulation on publicly traded companies to report on their greenhouse gas emissions. This will have an upstream effect on the supply chain. The cost of inaction could soon mean an increased amount of pressure and scrutiny. Whether or not your company or business has been impacted by fires, floods, hurricanes, or droughts, inaction will have a cost to your business.
So if you're one of the 30 million business owners of a small or medium-sized business, we're asking you to join us. Here are the 5 steps that business owners like Trent and me are using to make their businesses more profitable and more sustainable. This is your Slingshot.
S is for stakeholder engagement. Companies that are successful in implementing sustainability plans start by talking to their stakeholders to define, prioritize, and act on the sustainability issues most material to their business.
L is for long-term outlook. Look for returns 1 to 5 years from now, depending on the investments you make. Capital is increasingly available for the largest investments.
I is for identity. Make sustainability part of your corporate identity. It's important to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Getting a reputation for greenwashing is the surest way to erode your customer base, disengage your employees, and lose credibility with your vendors.
N is for numbers. Choose your key performance indicators after you talk to your stakeholders. Track your data and adjust using data-driven decisions. The initiatives you pursue must be grounded in good business principles that are designed to improve your financial performance.
G is go for it. If you are waiting for someone else to act, it's probably you that we are waiting for. If you are waiting for the perfect path, there isn't one. Stop waiting and start finding your path.
Whether you're a climate activist or a plastic bag maker or anything in between, we are all David, and climate change is Goliath. Yes, it's a massive challenge, but we have tools we need that we can pick up today and start hitting our targets. So pick up your slingshot and start slinging.